If you are over 60, I want you to stop for a moment and really listen carefully. Because what I'm about to explain is not a diet trend, not internet advice, and not random health opinion. It is something far more serious. It is about how one of the most common foods in your kitchen, bread, can quietly change your blood sugar, your energy levels, your memory, your inflammation, and even how fast your body ages. And most people never realize this until their body starts sending warning signals they can't ignore anymore. Fatigue after meals, sudden energy crashes, belly fat that refuses to go away, brain fog in the afternoon, joint stiffness in the morning. They think it is just aging. But Dr. Richard wants you to understand something important. Aging is not just time passing. Aging is how your metabolism responds to the food you eat every single day. And after 60, bread becomes one of the most powerful metabolic triggers in your diet. Not because bread is bad, but because your body is no longer the same system it was at 30 or 40. Three major changes happen inside your body after 60. First, insulin sensitivity decreases. This means your body no longer clears sugar from your bloodstream as efficiently. Second, muscle mass naturally declines, and muscle is one of the biggest glucose storage systems in your body. Less muscle means less capacity to safely handle carbohydrates. Third, mitochondrial function slows down. These mitochondria are the tiny energy factories inside your cells. When they slow down, your energy production drops, even if your diet stays the same. So now imagine this very clearly. You are eating the same bread you used to eat decades ago, but your internal system has changed completely. That is where the problem begins. And this is not theory. Large nutritional studies from institutions like Harvard, WHO-backed research databases, and long-term European aging studies consistently show a strong link between refined carbohydrates and increased risk of type 2 diabetes, higher abdominal fat accumulation, cardiovascular strain, and accelerated cognitive decline associated with poor vascular health. But here is where most people get confused. It is not bread itself that is the problem. It is the speed at which it is digested and converted into glucose. Fast digesting bread causes a rapid spike in blood sugar, which forces your pancreas to release a large surge of insulin. And when this happens repeatedly after 60, your cells gradually stop responding properly. This is called insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is not just about blood sugar. It is a full-body metabolic slowdown. It affects energy, fat storage, inflammation, and even brain performance. Now, Dr. Richard wants to show you something critical. There are breads that behave like slow, steady fuel, and others that behave like a sudden sugar explosion inside your bloodstream. And after 60, this difference becomes extremely important. So let's begin with the breads you need to be very careful with. The 4 worst breads after 60. 1. White bread, the silent energy crash trigger. White bread looks soft, harmless, and familiar. But inside your body, it behaves completely differently. It is made from refined flour, where fiber, bran, and most nutrients are removed. What is left is rapidly digestible starch. And here is what happens after you eat it. Within minutes, glucose enters your bloodstream. Your blood sugar rises quickly. Your insulin spikes sharply. At first, you feel a short burst of energy. But very soon after, you feel tired, hungry again, and mentally foggy. This is the classic blood sugar crash cycle. And after 60, this cycle becomes even more damaging because insulin sensitivity is already declining. So white bread does not just give energy, it destabilizes energy. And over time, repeated spikes contribute to abdominal fat gain, fatigue, and metabolic imbalance. 2. Sweetbreads and pastries, the double sugar shock. Now we move to something more dangerous: cinnamon rolls, sweet buns, bakery pastries. These are not simple bread. They are a combination of refined flour, added sugar, and processed fats. This creates a double metabolic load, one from starch and one from sugar. So your blood sugar rises extremely fast and insulin spikes aggressively. Then comes the crash, and your brain responds by demanding more sugar again. This creates a cycle: energy spike, crash, craving, repeat. And research in metabolic health consistently links this pattern to metabolic syndrome, abdominal fat gain, chronic inflammation, and increased cardiovascular risk in older adults. Now here is the critical issue after 60. Your recovery system slows down, so your body does not reset as efficiently as before. Each spike leaves a longer metabolic footprint. 3. Potato bread, the hidden starch trap. Potato bread sounds soft and comforting, but most commercial versions are made with white flour, potato starch, added sugar, and refined oils. This combination makes it extremely fast digesting. Your body processes it almost like pure starch. So what happens? Rapid blood sugar spike, short fullness, and quick return of hunger. And here is the key insight Dr. Richard wants you to remember. If a food makes you hungry again too quickly, it is not stabilizing your metabolism. It is stressing it. Over time, this creates unstable energy patterns throughout the day. 4. Gluten-free white bread, the marketing illusion. Now this one surprises most people, because gluten-free sounds healthy. But most gluten-free white breads are made from rice starch, tapioca starch, and potato starch. These are highly refined carbohydrates, and without fiber, they digest extremely quickly. In some cases, even faster than regular white bread. So what happens? Rapid glucose spike, weak fullness, and energy crash. And many people unknowingly switch to gluten-free bread thinking it is healthier, when metabolically it may not be. Now let's completely change perspective, because not all bread harms the body. Some types actually support digestion, metabolism, and stable energy, especially after 60. The 4 best breads after 60. 1. 100% whole grain bread, the stability bread. Whole grain bread contains fiber, bran, and natural nutrients. That fiber slows digestion, so glucose enters your bloodstream gradually instead of all at once. This leads to steady energy, better fullness, and reduced blood sugar spikes. It also feeds gut bacteria, which play a major role in immunity and inflammation control as we age. This is not just food, this is metabolic stabilization. 2. Sourdough bread, the fermentation advantage. Sourdough is naturally fermented. During fermentation, bacteria partially break down starches before you eat it, so digestion becomes easier and blood sugar response becomes smoother. Many older adults report less bloating, less heaviness, and better gut comfort. That is the result of fermentation biology working in your favor. 3. Rye bread, the slow energy release. Grain. Rye bread is dense and rich in soluble fiber. This fiber forms a gel-like structure during digestion, slowing carbohydrate absorption. So instead of spikes, you get gradual energy release, longer fullness, and better appetite control. This becomes extremely important after 60 when hunger regulation becomes less predictable. 4. Sprouted grain bread, the activated nutrition bread. Sprouted grains are seeds that begin germination. During that process, enzymes activate, starch breaks down, and nutrients become easier to absorb. So your body spends less energy digesting and more energy absorbing nutrients. For aging digestion, this can make a noticeable difference in comfort and energy. Final Doctor, Richard Climax. Now I want you to understand something very clearly. The goal is not to fear bread, and it is not to eliminate it completely. The real goal is to understand your aging metabolism. After 60, your body becomes more sensitive to digestion speed, glucose load, and insulin response. So the smartest strategy is not restriction, it is selection. Because when you choose slower digesting bread, you support stable energy, lower inflammation, and better metabolic balance. And that is what healthy aging actually looks like. Final closing, Dr. Richard. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you are already ahead of most people in understanding how your body really works after 60. Now I want to ask you something honestly. Which type of bread have you been eating most often without realizing its impact? Write it in the comments below. Dr. Richard reads many of them personally. And if you want more science-based, practical, no-nonsense health guidance for aging better after 60, make sure you subscribe. Because in the next video, Dr. Richard will reveal how your first meal of the day alone can influence your energy, memory, and blood sugar for the entire day. And most people are doing it completely wrong, without even knowing it. Stay informed, stay consistent, and take care of your biology, because it is the only one you have.